In today's video, I'm going to be using a $500 budget to build an under-23 limited team for this next up-and-coming European season. With the current price of ETH, $500 is roughly 0.033 ETH as the time of me recording this. So by the time this video's gone live, if there's any ETH fluctuations, it's out of my control. But I'm sure you get the point. $500 to build an under-23 limited team for this upcoming season. If you're excited for the video, please do leave it a like. And if you are new around here, please do subscribe. And let's just get straight into things. So we are going to be using the Sorare data concepts under Scout on Sorare data to build our under 23 limited team. So we're going to toggle this to global under 23. We're going to choose our scarcity as limited, of course. Position, obviously first we're going to need a goalkeeper, and we're going to toggle this to Champions Europe and Challenger Europe. They're the two regions that we're going to be focusing on, because Challenger and Champion are, of course, the only two European regions on Sorare. We're going to toggle this to starter because we don't want to be taking that many risks in terms of buying backup goalkeepers. If we are going to try and compete for prizes with this budget team toggled, we're going to leave the price filter as it is now. We're not going to change anything for now. But as a lot of you may know, our goalkeeper is going to be the highest expenditure of this team. Goalkeepers in general cost more because there's less of them, and the demand for them is still equally as high as it is for outfield players. There's just less goalkeepers to choose from, meaning that, you know, the price is going to go up. Probably not going to be shopping at the top of this list. Players like Muric, 0.23, Costa 0.5, way over budget. Van der Voort 0.38, again, basically our whole budget. Okoye 0.2, that's going to be too much for us. Lafont, again, the same. Savonov is not a bad price, actually, 0.16. That's actually decent. Maximiano, similar price. I don't mind that. Illich is a nice price, but I think his eligibility runs out in June, so we won't be looking there. I do like the look of Gaten Cook for Michelin in the Jupiter Pro League in Belgium. 3-day average of 0.0986, and his floor price is 0.131. So I think you could probably pick him up for like 0.11, given what his recent sales have been like. Is there anything down here I like? Peter Vindel, I think his eligibility will be up soon. Diach, depending on where you could move, could be a decent option. Nuruddin, not bad. A lot cheaper as well. But I'm not sure if I want to take the risk with that one. I think Gaten Cook is going to be the most nailed on in terms of going to be starting next season, in my opinion. And he's at a price where, we're not breaking the bank. It is almost 1/3 of our whole budget. But we expected that, knowing that goalkeepers are going to be the most expensive piece of the puzzle in this challenge. Okay, so defenders next. We are going to toggle this price filter to 0.0. We'll go 0.06 for now. We'll apply that. And yeah, we're going to check through. Well, that clearly didn't work, did it? There we go. Apply and search. Okay, so here are the options. We've got a Wobber at the top, Tapsoba, very nice option. Jordan Teze, Berna Sosa, not bad. Diviev, I do like the look of that at 0.03. As you can see here, these are the best scoring players, for that given price range that we did insert in to Sorare data. And yeah, Diviev comes in top 5 basically, which is nice to see. He's only 22 as well, so a lot of under 23 eligibility left for him. I do like Sosa, but he is subject to fallback tax. But he is a very, very good player. Kyle Henrique, I think his eligibility will be up very soon. Who have we got here? Ralston, Perrine. There's nothing crazy standing out to me. Keng's actually a decent player. Depends where he's gonna go next season. He's on loan last year to Leuven from Lyon, I believe, and he did score very well. Mari's a nice little player. Lacroix could be a decent one as well. Wout Face, I think his eligibility is going to be up as well in June. Ibanez could be a decent one. I think for the price, we're going to have to go with Diviev. For 0.03-ish, 0.04, I don't think we can really turn down an L40 56 player. Let's have a look at his Sorare scores in the last year or so. So as you can see here, the latest score, 85. He actually did get a decisive in that game with a 24 AA, 29 AA here. Decisive again against Ural. 40 AA score, which is nice to see. 33 AA score, 26. What have we got here? Another decisive. Fair play. He does seem to get his decisives. We can look at it this way as well, rather than looking at the price graph. And it shows you like whether he played 90 minutes, scored a goal. Obviously was out of the squad or whatever, and what position he played. But you can see a lot of nice green scores here, which is what we want to be, winning prizes on Sorare. Like I said, under 23 for another 2 seasons, playing for CSK. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, he's a very nailed on centre half at his club. So for me at that price, I can't really turn it down. We've got our goalkeeper and our main defender for a recent price average of 0.132 and a floor price of 0.17, which is not bad. The thing with under 23s, like, I like stacking a lot and I believe in stacking, but with under 23s, it's not as possible as other divisions. Just because most teams don't have a solid under 23 defender to go with the solid under 23 goalkeeper. It doesn't really happen. There's a few exceptions to that rule, but ultimately stacking isn't really meta, I would say, in under 23s. Okay, so midfielder, we're going to leave it at 0.06 and we're just going to give it a search and see what comes up. We got Kings Kangwa. I think he's going to be moving from Tulsa, who got relegated, I think. Oblakov for CSK as well. Could be a decent little CSK stack there. Zaruki, Mahdi Kamara. Eric Martel's a very good player. Depends where he moves to next season. But he scored very, very well this year, to be fair to him. So he's somebody to look out for. Zenit's Wendell will have his eligibility cut short in June, I believe. Same as Edison Alvarez. Daniel Uking could be a decent player depending on if he goes back to Krasnodar or not. I do like the look of Michael Sadiuk for FC20. He's just moved there from PSV. Takes set pieces as well, which I do like. Let's have a look at his Sorare scores in the last year. He was on loan at 20 last season. They did make, I think it's Conference League, or maybe Europa League for next season. I'm not completely sure. As you can see, a 97 here, a score of 36, but that was playing for his national team, to be fair. But we'll look this way instead. So he played against Feyenoord last game of the season, 58 with a 23 AA score. A 40 AA score here against Nek Brada, which is not bad considering no decisive. As you can see, not many decisives here. There's one here, and when he did get it, he got 92, which is a very nice peak score. An assist here against Wall, 77. But as a midfielder, with these type of AA scores, 50 AA, as you can see, against a poorer team, of course, but it's all about matchups and sort of placing your players in matchups to where you kind of know they're favourable fixtures for that given player in terms of getting a really good AA score. He does get the odd assist, to be fair. He has been playing left back in a few of these games, as Sorare data tells us, but mainly centre mid CDM. But him making his permanent move next season, I do fancy him to really kick on. We can kind of look at his heat map. I'm not sure if there's another way to do this, just to check his set piece involvement. As you can see here, red, meaning that he takes corners from both sides of the field. Played 30 games last season, started 29, plays 86 minutes on average every game, which is huge. 1 goal, 2 assists, 1.3 key passes, big chances created 4. Gets a lot of touches though every game. What's his defensive contribution? 1.7 interceptions is very good. 2.1 tackles per game is very good as well. So you're getting yourself a centre mid / CDM that takes set pieces, gets the odd decisive, but all round has a really good AA score. And I think for that price, 0.03 is a bit of a bargain. So we are going to throw him into our team. So far we've got Gaten Kuk, Igor Divyev, and Michael Sadiuk. Do need a forward now, and I think, considering we've only basically spent half our budget, we're probably going to come under budget, but I am going to change this price filter to 0.1 and see who we can get our hands on in terms of a forward. Muleka, Marco Grill could be a decent one. Zion Fleming, I really like for that price, 0.07. Again, depending on where he moves, he was crazy last season for Fortuna Sittard, considering they almost got relegated. An L5 of 73, 40 of 58 as a forward is huge. As you can see here, yeah, he just bagged decisives most games, which is very good to see. As you can see, last day of the season, he did get a goal line clearance and a goal, which was huge. He saved his team from relegation. Another one. Obviously, a few games where he, of course, didn't get decisives, but his AA game, as you can see here, 14.5. He plays a little bit deeper, like he doesn't play as a number 9, which is kind of a detriment to him in some ways, but also in terms of his AA score as a forward, because he doesn't suffer from misplaced passes and losing a lot of possessional points. He can kind of get away with, trying to create things, and there's less of a downside because as a forward playing in midfield, effectively what Zion was doing, every time he's like trying to create things and passing the ball, he isn't really being penalised as much as he would be if he was a midfielder card, because midfielders do get penalised more for lost possession than forwards. So in that sense, that's kind of one of the reasons why his AA game in games that he doesn't even score in, like a lot of these, as you can see, 50, 50, 48, 49, 49, 47, 51, and 49. He's pretty consistent in the games that he doesn't score in. Of course, there's a few lower scores here, 33, 35, 39, 41 and 42. So, but yeah, overall as a forward, an under 23 forward, I don't think it gets much better than Zion Fleming. If he goes to a better club in the Eredivisie next season, someone like a Feyenoord or AZ, I think you could really see him kick on even more than he has done for Fortuna. To be scoring that amount of decisives in a team like he was playing in is a bit of a miracle, to be fair. So, but we will have a little look down the list and see if we can find anything. Rossi's 24, so he's out of the question. Ritu Dohan, not bad. Josh Zirkzee, depending on where he lands, but he's a little bit more expensive because he's a little bit younger. Rabbi Matondo, fellow Welshman like myself, if he moves on from Circle Bruges, where he had a really good season last year, finished third best player in the Jupiter Pro League, Jorgen Larsen could actually be a decent shout. Very cheap, 0.03. I like the look of that, to be fair. But with the budget we have left, I think it would only be right to go with a Zion Fleming forward card. And then looking at our lineup floor price, we're at 0.277, which is still under budget, and the recent price average of 0.237. So basically this number is if you wanted to just go out and buy them right now from the market and not offer other traders a little bit lower than what they've got listed, then you could basically buy these 4 players for that price. And this is just showing you the price that they've recently sold for, combined, of course. So we've got a little bit of wiggle room to play with as an extra card. We will toggle the positional to defender, midfield and forward because of course we can use any of them. Keep the price filter at 0.1 for now and just see what pops up. I don't like going with 2 forwards, to be honest, so you know what, I'm going to actually revert my decision and get rid of forward and just go defender, midfielder and see what we can come up with. Stanley and Sockie could be a very nice shout at around 0.1 ETH, but that would probably take us just over budget. Slamansky, not sure where he's going to end up next season. Omar Soleil could be a very nice option. Again, 0.08. I mean, we would probably be in budget. Floor price, we might not be in budget, but recent price average, we will be. So maybe I'll try and find somebody a little bit cheaper. Ivan Oblakov could be a shout at that price. 0.039. That could definitely be a shout. Let's have a little look further down. Sergio Gomez, if he could sort of carry on his goal contributions from last season, that would be a huge deal for him. But he could also move as well to a better club after Company's just left. Anderlecht, Evan Ndikia could be a decent shout. Who should we go for here? Guendouzi. I'm kind of leaning towards Oblakov at that price. If we want to keep this as a budget team, which is of course the title of the video, I guess it would only be right to go with, the best bang for buck. Let's have a look at his most recent scores and scores over the last season on Sorare. As you can see, L5 of 64, L15 of 59, and L40 of 57. So some really nice scores. He is pretty decisive, capable, as you can see, last game of the season, goal and an assist, 97. But he also has a really good AA score, as you can see here. A 1-0 away loss to Krasnodar, and he did get a 66, which is nice to see. Played left mid against Sochi in a 1-0 loss, 11.3 AA score. Played CDM here, got 35 AA. Did get a minus AA score in this game, actually, but did get an assist, so that kind of saved him. Same here, minus AA score, but another assist. So, yeah, I mean, for the price, you can kind of expect a little bit of inconsistency, but for the price, I do think there's a lot of upside at the price that he's at right now. A load of green scores, and you got 100 here, 97, some really nice peaks in his game, and he doesn't really miss many games as well. So I think that could be our extra player locked and loaded, to be fair. There is a nice feature where you can, captain a player, and it will show you, how many rewards you would win with that lineup last season and how many game weeks where all these players played. And as you can see, only 3 game weeks where all these players played, which is quite surprising, actually. I'm not sure the reason for that, but you can see some of the scores that these players got last season. So in game week 264, they scored 350, and that would have won you a tier 2, for example. Lineup recent price average were way under budget at 0.271. Remember, this is the price that these players have been going for. It doesn't necessarily mean you could get these players at this price now, but I think anything around that to 0.3, you'd be in a decent position. I think if you paid 0.3 for this team, you can buy this team now effectively for 0.316 because that is the floor price on Sorare right now. If you're savvy about it, you could probably get this team for 0.29, maybe 285 if you're lucky. But yeah, I'd be really interested to see how this team does play out next season. We've got 2 CSKA boys, FC20, and then Fortuna Sittard, Zion Fleming, who could potentially move to a better situation, I think. And then in goals, Gator and Cook. For the price, I think you could have a lot of fun with this team. Is it good enough to win a division? Probably not. I think this team could compete, though. Don't get me wrong. 4 prizes, whether that's tier 2s, maybe the odd tier 1, but definitely tier 3s. But you just never know. If your luck's in and all your players pop off, there could be a star rare waiting for you at the end of the road. But for me, this is a decent looking team. Let me know if you would have made any changes. But like I said, we've come in under budget, to be fair. So we probably could have moved things around and maybe got a better midfielder or something. Considering what we've spent, I do think this team would perform very, very well over this next season. I'm going to reference this video in a year's time and see how many rewards this team would have won us. I can use, of course, the concept builder to do that and basically check this way. But, the games haven't started yet. The season hasn't started. So, yeah, we're yet to see how this team would get on. But I do think this team could do some damage next season. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you did enjoy, please leave it a like. And if you are new around here, please do subscribe. Have a good game week. Have a great day. And I shall see you guys in the next video.